Tuesday, August 27th. We have the minutes to approve from August, July 23rd and August 13th. Make a motion to approve the minutes. Someone?
The motion to approve the minutes of July 23rd.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. August 13th.
The motion to approve the minutes of August 13th.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
So the pond restoration is still pending.
Pending.
Request for
DEP.
the certificate of compliance for Messenger, we did the site visit
Yeah.
and we wanted to see some, we wanted them to stop mowing closer to the, I'm not sure how we want to go about that, whether we want to wait until they put the stakes in place.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
said.
he said he'd get back to
He'd
us.
come back.
Okay,
So
They had
we'll
mowed right up to the.
so we should continue.
continue that one too.
Because they didn't know or because they wanted to?
Hard to tell.
Okay.
Marion Fathers, ANRAD. What does ANRAD stand?
Resource,
Delineation.
Source there.
See if there's.
Oh.
it's
Okay.
for them to have a certify where the resource areas are,
Yeah.
so they can do
I think they've done that
something
a couple of times.
for other.
So,
Brian,
yeah.
Zero Dugway Road, I've sent
That's made.
oh, that's you. Never mind, Brian. Never mind.
I know where it is.
Okay. Shannon?
So Marion Fathers,
Oh, no, I did have something for you, actually.
Yeah.
Landau, the 50 Lake Drive.
the certificate of compliance.
Since we issued the certificate of compliance, they have put in a goose fence,
Big one. Big one.
which goes right down the ground. They're gonna have to modify that so that it allows for wildlife passage.
It's not like a silt fence they had there before, it's an actual.
It's
big,
bird
it's
fencing.
Long, all along the.
Very-
water.
Yeah.
And we will be watching.
We should do more than once. We should go back.
Well, we will,
Yeah, we should go.
because it was done after the certificate of compliance, which was not cool.
I know they asked if it was issued or not.
Yeah.
Now we know why.
And in case they're interested, there's the Lake Drive Association is looking for their right of way, which is right next door to their property. So it will be seen.
Okay, well, Marion Fathers.
Moving right along.
So this is it's the northern side of the property where it's, the second entrance comes down on Prospect Hill Road across from, Nomke. So this is that entrance here off of Prospect Hill, and to the north of the property, is an intermittent stream and originates at a pond to the east. It's a small farm pond. So we delineated just the southern bank of that intermittent stream so that they know where that 100-foot buffer is. So we're looking to, again, sort of confirm that delineation of the stream. And that ends in a concrete culvert that goes under the road and then down along the side of Nomke, and it discharges over there in the field. North is to the left.
So the road across the bottom is Prospect
This is
Hill
Prospect Hill Road going north.
and the driveway.
And this is that driveway that comes up with the gate. Yep. So this is all
Like a field.
grass field. There's a row of trees, and then up above, there's also fields that they mow. So we evaluated all that. No wetlands that we found. Just, of course, the stream here. That we're looking to delineate. We were questioning whether there's some BBW in these woods because there's a lot of barren canopy, but I think we attribute it more to white ash trees that have all died. So it's kind of sparse vegetation, but we looked and did some soil analysis, didn't see anything that would indicate a BBW down this area, so we didn't delineate anything.
Is that the path down to the garage? Was that-
Path, well, this is the driveway
That's
coming
that
up. And then there's
driveway.
woods between the driveway and Prospect Hill. So if you're coming up Prospect Hill, you see that steep bank and there's a few trees that are uprooted there.
Right.
So we were questioning, is there high groundwater table because of those trees falling? I don't,
Is there a lot line over that way?
no, this is just our ANRAD limits it's pointing to. So we outlined that they own 150 some acres south of there. So
I'm just wondering how far you go that way. That's the 100-foot red buffer zone that you.
This is a footpath that goes down to a small, there's like a shrine in the woods that you can see off the side of Prospect Hill. So this is maybe 500 feet from the driveway to south. So it encompasses most of the fields. The buildings would be down further south. So it's 4 acres of buildings. So there we're just looking at delineating that stream where it overlaps the property line. And then this also includes, if you think going east up and over the hill, right, this is that line of trees. So this is where the road was down here. So up further, they have more fields. And then there's actually a mapped wetland on the downslope, low side of that field. So we delineated the edge of that BBW as well. So.
Can you
To
state
this-
your name for the record, sir?
Robert Harrison, I'm an architect with Berkshire Design.
So including the NRED is this BBW edge. And I think 500 feet of the stream. Just looking to confirm that, nothing else within that. Mostly mowed field struck us as being a jurisdictional wetland, so.
So pinpoint on the map, if you can, on that map, where the construction's going to be.
The construction that is proposed is in this field here.
And
So
what is it?
That's way far away from everything.
And what's it going to
What
be?
is it?
Essentially dormitories or.
Because the thing is,
Right?
It's a slope,
That's a big
right?
field.
It's a slope.
This is sloping down, this is steeper on this side, this is probably 15% slope.
they have done a lot of construction up there. And over the years, we have gone up there and seen some real changes. And one of the things that that happened, which I still am not happy about, was when they put in the parking lot at the top of Pine Street. This was supposed to be the main entrance. And it is not the main entrance. And the folks who are downhill from them, particularly Heaton Court and all of the people who live on Pine Street, have had serious runoff problems. When they put in the detention pond at the far end of the big parking lot to the right as you go up there, it failed catastrophically and wiped out Vine Street down below. So we've seen a bunch of cumulative effects of the development on that property, and I find it troubling. Just saying.
What a,
Sally, you're talking about the next property over, I think. That's the Marion Father's, what do they call it?
Well, it's all the
No,
same
it's
property.
it's all the
It's
same.
by the property line.
It's that big field when you
Correct.
go onto the driveway on the left.
It used to be Parsons' house, I think he's talking about.
Mm-mm.
No, that's
Big
this
field.
property here next.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so they own this house as well. But this is on the
You remember,
monastery side.
You walk up.
you remember what happened when that detention pond failed?
I don't know, this is helpful.
Perch, wetlands.
Or locusts.
Should look anyway.
I want David to look at it.
This
You
is
went out with
the
David?
main campus here.
I want David to-
Want David to-
Looking at This field
I'd like to
area.
If it's okay with you.
What about all those buildings, like they used to be a swimming pool, I don't know if it's still
Yeah,
there, and there's a whole bunch
Swimming
of
pool
buildings
failed.
So that would be on a separate
on
parcel.
Right, the swimming pool built, the swimming pool failed. I don't know what happened to it, but it failed. So they weren't using it anymore. But there's just been so much up there on their Eden Hill. It's up on the hill and anything that they do there
goes down.
changes the water. And so it ends up in Nomkeg, it ends up on Church Street.
Right.
It's something that I think is really pretty significant, anything that they want.
Nomkeg did all those rocks to help hold back the
It
rate.
did help. But the folks who live on Church Street were extremely concerned with the water coming off of Tavidian's property, which is just up above there.
Mhm.
I mean, it goes everywhere and we've had, I don't know how many applications with people who are on Pine Street and Vine Street where the water is coming down, the whole back end of Heaton Court washed out. It's really,
It'll make a
Brian,
difference.
this is before your time, but I witnessed what she was talking about. There was so much water coming down, it came down even Shamrock Street, and it dug a 4 foot deep trench this wide, tore up all the concrete or the blacktop that's 4 inches thick. Big chunks like this were in my yard. But it's long before your time.
I certainly can't speak to what happened on the other half of the property. But I know that any building development here that's being designed is subject to obviously stormwater standards. So it would be
Going to be.
incorporated in so that anything running off of this, and again, this is all pitching down toward Prospect Street, but all of that would be captured so as not to increase any of the water volume flow off of the property.
Excuse me just for a second. If you look at the, where they built a little bridge to get into a parking area where they put up the tents. And follow that sort of a intermittent stream out of there. They used to just run in grass. And now it's probably 6 feet deep. And that's the kind of change in the runoff that we've witnessed.
and why it concerned us. That's why it concerned us.
Well, the part of this too is to confirm where the wetlands exist now, and so that we make sure that we're staying outside that jurisdictional area, because we don't want to affect either of those resource areas. Nothing will be,
Where are you gonna dump all the runoff from all this development?
it'll be a series of constructed stormwater basins, retention basins.
And then where do they-
Multi-outlet structures.
Ultimately, where will it drain to? Just give us a.
Well, it ultimately drains back to the field, but at that point it'll be reduced so that the velocity and
So
the
you,
water volume are reduced to what they would have been pre-construction or pre-alteration.
are you saying that it'll go east then up to this, off that
Campusa?
into Campusa?
No, this is all pitched west, away from campus.
So where would that area, you just
So it goes down,
circle the whole
now
area.
it's gonna go towards
That's a
Nomkeg.
lot of area to drain.
The project is taking place here, right? So it'd be downhill of this.
So it'd go to Nomkeg.
Into that thing they've been.
I wouldn't say it's going to Nomkeg. It's definitely directed downhill. It's being captured and treated so that it's not invasive.
It can be slowed
Had a
down.
big deal with them.
Yeah, I just want you,
It's infiltrated.
I want you to understand how serious this seems to us because of what's happened in the past.
There's some people.
Here.
One other thing. Right, somebody who used to work at the Marion Fathers. Good
evening.
They dug observation wells
You can't hear you.
through there. And he watched the ground. And hit records for that. And he said it really changes. So
Well, we
it comes right up
to
to,
number is foiled with that borings, before this, just as part of geotechnical investigation.
Do you have any idea on what happens to the groundwater?
I'm sure I could reference it in the reports, but I didn't value it, and it wouldn't show changes over time. It'd be existing conditions.
You would be designing this based on 100-year storms, not 10-year storms? I mean, our storms are so much more dramatic than they used to be.
The hydraulic evaluation is done over 100-year storm, yes. So it's designed not to increase again stormwater volumes from the 100-year storm.
Is this mowed lawn around it?
Yeah, it's just a field.
And that was another thing that was supposed to happen. They were supposed to reduce their lawns, remember?
Because
Yeah, I mean,
this
is our only chance.
lawn and grass will slow down the water, whereas
Pavement.
closely mowed.
They were supposed to have reduced their lawns in a goodly portion of well, it was the eastern part of the property, so that it would be they could brush hog it, but it
Up
would
on the
be.
hill.
Well, they are reducing the lawn, but they're replacing it with a.
No, I know, but remember, we had
Parking
they were
lot.
going to reduce the lawn so that the runoff would be captured in tall grass rather than mowed grass.
Up on the hill, it's not mowed.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not?
By the parking lot up on the hill. It's a
Okay.
that big
All right.
hill, it's not
Grassy.
mowed.
We're gonna want to come
But
see
when you
this.
walk on the road.
Right, as
on the
you can see, we have a big,
On site visit, at least for the ANRADs.
think we would want
Confirm the delineation.
And could you move the building over where there's existing buildings?
Well, I'm not really speaking to the development on this, and I didn't do the design, honestly.
Okay.
But we're just.
Gonna have to
we're just
file for-
confirming that the wetlands that exist and how we delineated them are
Yeah.
accurate in terms of
in terms of,
evaluation. So,
this is a dormitory. How many units are you talking?
can't speak to that either.
We
you
gotta
know.
know that.
It's a large building. I don't know how many rooms it is.
And is it for people,
More than 20?
Yes,
100?
Hell,
I wouldn't say, no, I think it's less than 100.
And then is parking going to be part of this?
There's parking areas, yes,
And additional
Yeah.
parking areas beyond just what's for the dormitory?
no. I believe it's all the parking being proposed is for the dormitory.
In the past?
And again, I'm not
Yeah,
an expert on this, but I know to some extent, it's a large building and there'll be parking for the dormitory. And I think it includes like study area or library.
Is there more than one building?
No,
So,
it's one building. It's a large building.
they're gonna have to come for
Yeah, so I
a
don't.
stormwater permit.
Well, I believe they may have applied for a building permit already, which would go through you as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but they're gonna have to do the stormwater permit, town stormwater permit.
When did the new
I mean,
regulations?
they just change a little bit and it's a massive change down the hill.
Well, again, the hydraulic analysis, you design the stormwater structure so that they capture that.
look at it and then we'll set up a site.
Retain some of that volume so that it's not all, washing out down the hill.
We're gonna request a site visit, but we don't have a date on this yet.
Because we're gonna,
Get our consultant involved in this.
yes,
Yes,
it's.
I'm sort of in and out right now, but just let us know and I can. Yeah.
David, so this would be something that we can request under our authority to have a consultant, so that they would have to get an estimate and they would pay for it.
Okay. And he'd be at the site visit too, or do his own.
Somehow or other, we would coordinate that.
All right, so we need to continue this till the next meeting and we'll put this together as best we can by then and try to coordinate with you when you have a day off or our afternoon off or.
You can bring the baby.
I don't know if I want to do that. So I appreciate it, Tom.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Babies have come to site visits.
Beautiful.
My grandchildren have all come to see.
We had fun.
Dogs.
Played in the water. National Grid. Oh,
Did you
that's
have
still-
something specific about this, or are you going to be the architect for the project?
I haven't got a big.
Okay, all right.
All right.
How big is the building?
We don't have a building in front of you. We're asking for help defining exactly what the wetlands and jurisdiction is so that we can work with you and make sure that we don't disrupt it. You know, we need your help so we can all agree where we're starting, so we can make sure we do a good job.
We will do our best.
Now you understand that we have concerns, so that'll help you
When we
too.
bring a building in front of you, we'll address that, but right now we just need to know where we're starting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
See you anyway.
Oh, I can move around her.
Okay, Shannon Bowlesman, White Engineering. So several of us did a site visit at the Silverman property at 104 Interlaken Road. I saw the location for 2 new power poles and an underground power line going through an existing cleared swath to the new garage.
Pretty clear cut.
And we had no issues with that. Anybody expressed anyway.
So it's a negative.
Termination.
I don't know which number. but it-
Do you need the form?
No, I have it actually. Because you sent it.
Yes, I did.
Shannon had asked that if we approved this tonight, that we could sign it and we'd make copies and you could take them. So with the motion,
I make a motion for a negative determination for 104 Interlaken Road, utility plan.
A second.
All in favor?
All right.
And Shannon Dugway?
yes.
Yes.
We have
What
gotten,
is going on there?
a few reports of there being significant stormwater activity coming off of the property.
And very significant road erosion
Road, okay.
along the part of the road that's closest to the property,
Okay,
very wide, just all washed away.
okay. Any going on to the neighbor's property?
I just did a drive-by. I couldn't say, I'd like us to go look at it again.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty bad.
Well. Let's give them time to correct it.
All right.
Don't you want to see how bad it looks before they correct it so you can see? I think it makes sense to see it because I think it's pretty significant.
We have notified the contractors and said we would follow up with them when.
It may already be corrected.
I doubt it, because that was
I-
this afternoon.
Yeah, I saw it last week.
Mhm.
We want it corrected as soon as possible. And I don't know how soon we can get there. Get there this week.
It's a holiday, Monday.
And I can't.
Yeah, I mean, we could go individually, but if
Possibly.
we're gonna go as a group, we have to.
Well, I'm also
Can't
happy to
post
go and take pictures. I think it's worth looking, having some documentation of what it looks like now.
Right.
Shannon, is there some way of slowing the runoff down? I mean, do you have a detention?
There is
Is
supposed
there
to
an area
be.
for detention?
Yeah. There were numerous detention basins.
And that was to be
That was
built
there.
first, as I recall.
The
Yeah,
driveway was built.
yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to go out and take a look at it and see what's going on and meet with the contractors and remedy this.
As soon as they get it, if we find where the problem is, we should correct it as soon as possible, of course. Can you get by there?
I can get by and take pictures of the erosion. I
Okay.
won't walk on the property. I'll take pictures.
Well, you can, actually, because we have an open,
Yeah, I don't want to go up there alone.
okay.
I'll just
I mean, we have an open order so that
I'll just get,
we're permitted under our town bylaw to enter the property to inspect at any reasonable hour, like not midnight.
I'll get some pictures. Well, I assume it won't be fixed this week.
Probably not. Probably not. I would hope that like Brent would get out there on Thursday,
Okay,
look at it.
that might be when I go, actually.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Oh,
right.
I'm sitting here with this. Could have moved it.
And hand delivered by a rather grouchy husband. I left it on the table.
What do you got there?
Is that tree removal form for 70 East, no, wrong, 38 East Street. She has a large pine tree apparently, which is threatening the house.
38 East Street. Anybody driving by there tomorrow? Oh. Yes, I can. Copies.
Do you want me to make copies?
Yeah, or, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do you know how to use the copier, Joe?
Start.
You know how to do it back of two-sided? Here, I'll go.
It says two-sided.
Okay.
Go for it.
Let's see. Let him try.
What do you think she's gonna do?
It's two-sided and staple, please.
There's two of them. They can figure.
Four copies.
Either that or to come back with shreds.
All right.
All right, I'll try to get by 38.
East Street. Okay, and then so I had a long conversation with the gentleman who lives at 22 Yale Hill. And he was apparently on a Zoom call at the time that one of the people who was concerned about the stoppage of the flow in the brook. And so he acknowledged that he might have been a little bit short with his neighbor who was coming up in his backyard to talk about the stream. But he said, his wife says he can't change a light bulb, so he was quite sure that he couldn't divert a stream. So he was very pleasant and said he had no idea what had happened. And I asked him if it was possible that there had been, because it seems as though from what we heard that it stopped flowing and then started again in not too long a time. And so I asked him if he thought it might have been a tree that had fallen or something coming down the stream and blocked it temporarily. And he said he thought it would have had to have been a pretty big tree to do that. But I suggested to him that if this were to happen again, that we would contact him as to, to be part of the investigation as to why this might have happened.
Where does that stream start?
I believe it starts up at what I would call Sally Bagley's, but I don't know what anybody else.
That drain comes the bog, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So the only thing I'm remembering that I didn't remember.
It's a
when you
river.
Said it before is the person that was here who knew someone that went up there
yeah.
said that there was a pond there. I thought that wasn't there before, that was low. And when this happened, the pond filled up. So that's why they thought it was that house. Like
Yeah.
They were trying to fill up
Yeah,
the pond.
I don't know. But anyway, he was, he said he absolutely would never do such a thing. And if he did, he would certainly understand why we would fine him significantly for doing that. So clearly he is on board with the protocol, so anyway.
Now, there's a case for a drone.
Yeah, I mean, it's flowing again and, if it happens, he certainly would be happy to be called to testify. Thank you. To testify, as to what happened or to be part of the investigation as to what happened. So,
All right, we'll continue that.
but we don't have anywhere to go with that at the moment because the stream is flowing and if you know, if anybody reports that it's not, again, then we'll have to figure out if we can find out why it isn't.
All right, so we're past that, into White Pine. Sign. Laurel Hill,
Yeah.
Silverman.
Yep. We just signed Silverman.
Oh,
That was the
I didn't
one.
even look at
They
the
just
sign.
did. And then we had the Laurel Hill.
We want A and Lincoln Hill. Oh, have we heard from,
Yes, we have the filing for the stormwater permit for that, which we'll hear at the next meeting.
Did that come with a paper?
No,
Do we have to have a copy?
we have copies. And, you know, we had looked at it for a jurisdictional, and as I recall, we didn't really think that there was anything, but we need the formal, you know, we need to make it formal. We just got 2 copies, so.
I'll give it back to you.
And so Scenic Mountain we'll still have to figure out. And Joe, we could not find anything from Mass DOT in the office. Ron and I looked everywhere.
Okay, is there a bigger scenic mountain?
There is a bigger Scenic Mountain Act, but it does, or a map, but it doesn't really tell you much. This is something that Rich Bradway sent for the land trust. And it is identifying conservation lands in Berkshire County, or in Stockbridge, sorry, in Stockbridge. And he wanted to know, I guess they're doing
Inventory?
an inventory. I can't read this, but I can tell you right now that there's one that's not there, which is ours. And
can't read it all.
It's the original that's in
Magnifying
color.
glass, like-
yes, yes, it is.
Like almost impossible.
Yes, it is in color.
So that-
I don't know. I thought that printer printed in color, Jamie, does it?
I don't know, maybe Michael's does. I don't know if this one does.
Yeah, well, I wanted
The
to,
color button, there'll be a
Big one
button
down the
that
end.
says color.
yeah, but I was trying to print it off my computer down in the office. And I couldn't see where I could make it print in color.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
So,
So are we?
I'll send it around if it didn't come to everybody. And,
I didn't get the attachment.
okay, I'll send it around and if people can take a look at it and say where they know that there's conservation land. I know that we have 40 some odd acres in conservation that's not on that map. And the Nature Conservancy across the street, I don't know whether it's officially in conservation, but the Stokes Frelinghuysen property up on Prospect Hill, off of Prospect Hill on Rattlesnake is in some conservation. The Ripley property over the other end of Rattlesnake on Devon Road, there's a piece there. Michael has some of that information.
Is Gold Meadows on here?
No, there was a comment from Tim Minkler saying that he would send a map of Gold Meadows specifically to add to their inventory.
So, for scenic mountains, I thought we would not right now, but we would review the whole document. Not just
Right.
now.
Yeah.
So keep it on as a project at some point.
Agricultural Forestry Commission. What did the farmer's market? I wasn't in town.
It's still going. The feedback from the farmers is that they're happy. And I think they're going to extend it further. It was only going to be 5 or 6 weeks. They're gonna extend it a little.
Wish they'd extend it to 6:30
Well,
because I
this is a
work
trial.
from 2 to 6.
Yeah,
And I can't get there.
this is a trial
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Next year they'll
Yeah.
take feedback and hopefully next year it'll be bigger and longer.
Yeah. But it makes me sad I can't go.
Yeah.
So
Can't sneak out for.
I can't, I'll have to say, okay, we're closing the store. I'll see you
I might get
later.
my veggies.
But I think everyone is pleased. It's small.
Yeah,
It's a nice little market.
those kinds of things tend to grow.
Railroad enforcement order,
Yeah, we
nothing.
got nothing there.
Wheatley Drive, SK Design, they're gonna send us a stormwater management plan.
Yes.
And 21 Wheatley Drive, stormwater permit required.
Yeah,
21.
Mark Simpson said we do have the right to go on the property. So-
21.
21.
I think basically what we want to know is if it's greater than 10,000 square feet.
And
That's our
you
question.
do know that.
You know that it is?
Well, yes,
And do a stormwater.
no,
So,
right. And supposedly they're doing one.
okay. So that it says question mark, but they are.
Oh, 20, no, I'm sorry, 21 Wheatley Drive. I don't know that.
Yeah, so I think that's our question.
Yeah. We're expecting one from 11 Wheatley.
So how do we get an answer for 21 Wheatley?
Well, I think we have to get in touch with Kathleen McCormick, who is the trustee, and with a date where we tell her that we want to investigate whether or not we believe that there should be a stormwater filing for this work.
Whose property is it now? Is
It's
it
hers. I mean, she's the trustee for the Apple Hill Realty.
Oh. But it's not, is it necessarily, has it been sold to someone else? Is it their project? Is it?
I don't know.
She was the one that responded.
Yes. She's the one who's listed as the owner.
That's the person to talk to.
Or can it be done electronically?
What do you mean?
Can someone look at a map and see what the cutting was and measure it? I don't know how to do that, but
Yeah, I don't know how to do that either. And I did not get, I mean, Mark Stinson said that's a town bylaw. It's not my job, basically.
so we need to find out how big it was.
And David can't help us with
As
this.
he was involved.
Yeah, way back when. First time we met him. He was all right with us then.
I think we were reasonably happy with the
Yeah.
superseding order. We would have liked it not to be done at all, but
Any other business?
Can I say something?
Sure.
We were trying to find out how big the dormitory was, just so that when we take a look at the
Right.
property, as a courtesy. You know, this is what you got to imagine. And
We should ask if the plans have been drawn up for
they
it
have
yet.
not, apparently. I mean, that was what,
technically, I guess they could do, you know, they don't have to tell you.
how they don't.
All we want to do is pin down where the wetland areas are. And,
But they will have to tell us for stormwater.
yeah, of course, you'll see it for stormwater. But as a courtesy, you know, just because it helps to begin to imagine if it's massive, you know, how's that gonna work? And where's all the drainage is what caused past problems, that kind of stuff.
I'm afraid this has always been a somewhat of an antagonistic relationship.
I think it's gonna be big.
Well, when they come before us with something, we scrutinize it and do the best we can. But if they don't have,
For the
They don't have a
ANRAD, they don't
design
have
yet.
to give us that.
Yeah. And And I remember that we were told that in those wells, that the groundwater goes up and down. I don't know. It seemed like 5 feet, something like that, between high and low groundwater. And it's at high water, high groundwater, it's, you know, what did he say, something like 11 inches salient? It was pretty close to the top.
I just remember that catastrophic fail of the detention pond at the far end, which was just,
There were many.
that was amazing.
It even dug up down on Church Street where it goes underneath.
I mean, we've had trouble and, you know, the architect can be all well and fine about what he thinks this building is going to look like. But frankly, you know, whatever the building is, the impact of Eden Hill is the fact that it's the top of the hill. And we have had between what comes down into Namkeg, what comes down onto Church Street, what comes down from Tavidian, which comes from the hill, what comes down into Shamrock Street. I remember the whole thing with the Markovitz, remember, and their whole backyard was getting washed out, and Lillian Bender down below. I mean, we have had so many filings that have resulted from excess water coming off of Eden Hill.
So if we walk it with David for the NRAD, we can walk into that field, or we can walk on the road by that field and get a sense of where the drainage is going to go. I mean, he showed us where it is. You can see the slope. We can get some idea.
Here's the,
You can walk every day because the road is open.
Yeah.
So you can see it.
Yeah, I mean, if we could walk it with David and see if he can give us a sense of where it's going to end up.
well, here's the way I understand it. I mean, if the ground is full of water, it's like a sponge, then it's not going to hold anymore. And that's when the problem's at.
So,
Or if it's frozen, remember how John used to? Because all bets are off then.
so is it the ground where they're planning to build is full of water?
Mhm.
So is it a mowed wetland?
It's not a
Actually,
wetland.
this is where they put the parking, you know, that's partially paved, partially just gravel. And we weren't able to get any of that information, but it was logged. And the main idea is that, at least for me, is that once the ground is full, there's infiltration that's in that stormwater number. Without that, they're hurting, you know.
Yep.
You got, that's,
Runoff going to go primarily towards Namkeg.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
So what's coming towards
it also comes
Church
down
Street.
It's gonna
directly.
give the bulk to Namkeg.
is the primary target.
Yeah, the other target.
Shamrock Street's on the other side.
Yeah, but that's already had its impact from what
But
they've
it's
done
also
up
going to
there.
go, if it goes to Prospect Hill, it'll go down to Shamrock.
Or
It's
Main
gonna go
Street.
to- Or Main Street, it's gonna
Oh,
go
it's
down the
gonna go
hill.
to, the old people place, Heaton Court.
Heaton Court. Yeah, because Heaton
They're
Court
right
already
below.
lost their whole
Right below.
backyard because of the flooding. I mean, when I was there for a while and in a big storm, it would come right down Pine Street. And it was like a river coming down Pine Street. And it would come off Eden Hill, it would come down across Vine Street, and then it would head right on down because it's a hill and it's a steep hill. And the water has significant velocity and erosive properties. I mean, it was bad.
I don't think they're gonna go, my sense, well, this is all speculative, but they have a big detention basin. And
But the detention basin is at the far end of that
Yeah,
big parking
the
lot.
plumbing's all there to get from, you know,
Yeah, but this is, if this is their property, the detention basin is here. And the big parking area is here, and where they're talking about working is here.
And down slope, and down slope.
Of the hill.
From
Sorry?
It's a height hole of the hill.
Yeah.
The only way to get to the detention pond would be to dig deep and try
Detention
to get
pond.
it well, that direction. So they need another detention
No,
pond
no.
on the other side.
you do with gravity.
I remember we walked.
Building is gonna be in that big field that faces Namkeg.
walking through.
Not up towards the
It's
parking
not up where
lot.
the other buildings are, it's down.
It's down in that
Near
field,
where
that,
What dog was, what dog was there?
Field adjacent to that.
What year?
Unless your dog is really old.
We.
She was 11 and a half, so.
Yeah, so, but it was, you know, she was still going with you to site visits, so it was a
It's a
while.
nice name.
Yeah. I don't get to choose names. It wouldn't be Sparkle. Any other business?
No, I think.
Make a motion,
Make a motion.
adjourn,
second,
all in favor?
I.
Aye, 10 minutes
Yep.
of.
Yeah.